Hold on to your butts.
My American.
I've been tracking Sasquatches for 25 years.
My American.
Global awakening to the New World Order.
My American.
Artificial intelligence, non-droid.
My American.
Do you believe in UFOs?
Yes, sir. Extraterrestrial.
You're listening to Pardon My American.
Yes, you are.
Yo. What's up, Greg?
What's up, everybody?
Going on, everybody?
Happy Monday, folks.
Indeed. Happy Monday. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
I am, it is officially pollen season around here.
Oh, yeah.
The pollen,
Oh, shit.
The pollen is insane, and my eyes are burning.
Yeah.
And itching.
I saw some cars. I was like, that's some thick shit right there.
Dude, my dad went through the car wash yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and then this morning, his car was completely covered in pollen already.
Well, we have those windstorms, right? So we have all heard about the big storm that's kind of going through America, and West Texas got just pummeled with dust storms, and that pushed all, like, was yesterday. Nice crack, man. Good job. It was yesterday, but you looked outside and it's just hazy. You know, it has that up high is all that dust from West Texas, and it's just crossing over, and you're like, oh, here comes the pollen, dude. Here comes all the shit in the air. So I think it'll clear up.
What is it? Something that grows over in West Texas that blows towards you guys then, or what is it?
Well, no, normally it's not a big deal, but the windstorm brought a lot of shit over, a lot of dust over.
Yeah,
but we have pollen just like we had in Austin, where
springtime right now. So
yeah,
it's getting into springtime, so it's like the pollen is insane.
It's different. It's a different thing than the West Coast. Like here, it's like thick yellow, kind of a haze that's all over the cars and shit. And you have to wash your car frequently, and it's just like this. It looks like a bee's nutsack. You know what I mean? It's just like a full.
It looks like a bee's.
Yeah, because you know bees, like they fucking rub up on those flowers and they get some pollen up on that shit.
They get a little jizzy, you know.
And it's like that yellow pollen, that little stickiness.
Huh.
Yeah, man, they're just coming all over our cars, dude.
I don't think that's what's happening.
Dang, dude.
I don't think it's what's happening, but it's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, you'd be in.
So what gets you, Chris? Like, what's your biggest allergy? I guess.
I don't know everything, dude.
Well, because I remember like your lips, they plump up.
That was
like
different
frickin',
yeah, I don't know.
Dolly Parton's tits.
I still have to take something every day for that. But like, I don't know. It's still like I took 4 of those today.
Yeah.
And I still got the
4?
Yeah.
Allergy pills?
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to only take 1 a day?
Well, that's what they recommend.
Oh god.
Well, aren't they 24-hour pills?
Yeah, they are.
Chris is OD.
Holy shit, dude!
I asked him. He said you can take up to 4 days. He said pilots take 4 at a time.
Pilots?
Fuck,
Yeah,
check your liver, bro.
If pilots are having allergy problems, they take like 4.
Why pilots though?
Because you can't be having crazy shit going on with your eyes and stuff while you're flying.
I feel like when you're flying, you're just like in this compartment that's like
are they
blowing oxygen in there.
allergy?
Like you're up in that. You know, I just feel like there's no pollen.
Yeah, but
there.
you're not in the plane 24 hours a day.
That's true. But I feel like most of the time you're just kind of, aren't you just like in the airport and shit? Hotel, straight to airport, flight, hotel, flight.
You're just allergic to freaking stupid people flying all the time.
As long as your doctor said it's good, man.
He said it's fine.
Because I don't want you I don't want to. I mean, I'll give you a mouth to mouth if you got you know.
Nah,
I don't want you to. I don't want you.
He
to
always
fucking,
starts dick to mouth though. That's always the number. If I gotta resuscitate you, dick to mouth, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
well then I can't go mouth to mouth because then it's like my dick.
I feel like the recommended dosage of stuff like that is always like very low.
Well, yeah, it is. But
Like
you
taking
probably.
like Tylenol or something, dude. I take like 1,600 milligrams at a time.
Yeah, you might want to check your liver at some point.
He's like, it's no big deal. In like
drugs.
10 years, you're like, fucking, it's just not working right.
It's fine.
His eyes start turning yellow.
Yeah.
I have a high tolerance for medication. It's always like even going into the dentist and stuff, they have to like give me more.
Sounds like a crackhead. You know what I mean? It's like, I got high tolerance for meth, dude.
No, like if you like when I went in for my dentures and shit, like getting teeth removed, like the stuff they give you wasn't enough. Like it didn't dull the pain. It like I could still feel everything. So they had to give me more.
Did you tell them that like before like it started? You're like, Doc, listen, I got a syndrome. Okay, I feel a lot of pain. You're gonna have to give me a lot of this shit.
No, it's not that I
Dose me
feel.
up.
It's not that I feel a lot of pain. It's just I think I have a tolerance for medication.
Because you're taking 4 pills. You know what I mean? Like you're building up you got to have more.
But I don't. I mean, this is the only medication I've ever taken consistently. I've ever had to take.
True. Greg, we might have to have an intervention, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Might have to.
That fucking.
He's a pill.
Hooked on fucking Zyrtec.
Allergy heads, dude.
That damn fucking eyes are itching, man. I need some Zyrtec.
I know. I came in. He's just like rubbing his eyes. I'm like tired, and he's like allergies.
These are burnt. They're
Yeah.
killing me.
Oh,
It's all good though.
There's nothing that can cure it too. Like it's like I just do cold washcloth.
Yeah.
Like contacts make it 10 times worse because the shit gets caught underneath the
I
contact.
can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
No.
So do you have a good Patreon show on Friday? I missed the Patreon show.
Yeah, so we dove kind of deep into religion a little bit.
We did.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Richard called in and we started talking about like, do you believe in Jesus? All this stuff about the Bible. Could it all be fake? Could it be real? Like, how do you know everybody's like telling the truth? And it's like one of those things
we started talking about like the Pope and like the way they get picked by these people, but those people are like speakers
in
to
the club.
God and like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
That's a
we
good
talked about
conversation,
because the
though.
Pope's dying, dude. The Pope, I thought he was going to die like on the Ides of March or like that weekend, you know, with the blood moon and shit.
Yeah,
But it's like he's still kicking, I guess.
We
They
started. Me and my wife started watching that show, Righteous Gemstones. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
is that with Adam Sandler?
No.
Oh.
It's fucking.
That was my screen name on ICQ.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's actually pretty good, dude. So far, it's pretty good.
Righteous Gemstones.
Dude, it's got a great cast. So it's got the dude from Workaholics.
Wait, oh yeah, that's a comedy show, right?
Kind of. It's like a crime comedy kind of thing, but it's got the dude from Workaholics, the one that's actually done a bunch of shit. You know that kid, and it's got what's his name? Fucking Eastbound and Down guy. Okay, he's like the main character.
Danny McBride.
It's got a killer cast, and what it's about is a mega church, right? And it's like the father, the 2 sons, and the daughter, and they all run this church, and it's like the corruption and all this shit. But it's like a comedy, you know. So
Okay.
it's the 4th season just started.
Damn.
And it looks very interesting. Kind of controversial, but it's also humorous. You know what I mean? It's got that funniness to it, dude.
Yeah.
It's got a great cast, dude. It's got the guy from Fallout, the dude with the no nose. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah,
Fallout.
yeah.
He's in it. The new season has Bradley Cooper in it. I mean, it's like a stacked ass
Wow.
cast, and it's kind of funny, dude. So it's cool, man. But it's definitely a religious thing. So I can see how it would offend people, but I do think that what they're talking about does relate because there is some like where they're taking money and they're buying jets and they're spending all this shit, and it's
Well, I mean, moral of the story is everybody get on Patreon because it was a fucking killer episode.
Yeah,
Richard
man.
dropped a lot of bombs about like the Catholic Church and the Catholic religion, like just the weird ceremonies and rituals that they do. And
they just he just turned himself in, a guy in Dallas, the mega church in Dallas. He just turned himself in for child charges.
Turned himself in.
Turned himself in 5 charges with minor. And he turned himself in. So
jeez.
We'll see. But listen, man, there is definitely corruption. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that the people that are saying it sometimes
Indeed.
are not good. But
and speaking about corruption, it sounds like the autopen got into a little bit of trouble. Somebody figured out, hey, these signatures all look identical. What is going on here?
See, that's my question. Is it bad or is it not bad?
Well,
I don't know.
okay.
So that's what I wanted to ask you guys about.
So Trump came out and he made a post saying that all of the pardons and all of the shit Biden had signed is all now null and void. All of like the critical paperwork and stuff like that he had signed.
Yeah, there's a video of him on a plane too that I have too.
A video of him on a plane? Oh, Trump?
Yeah, where he's talking about it. And he's like, I think they're all null and void because he didn't know what he was doing and blabberdy-blue.
Here, we'll play it real quick.
Can't really hear it, but here we go.
From the former president, now null and void.
Well, I think so. It's not my decision. That'll be up to a court. But I would say that they're null and void because I'm sure Biden didn't have any idea that it was taking place. And somebody was using an autopen to sign off and to give pardons to, as an example, just one example, but the J6 Unselect Committee. they gave, think of it, they gave pardons with an autopen. I don't think Biden knew anything about it. And what they did is they deleted and destroyed all of the information that took them over a year to get. And the reason they did that is because the information was very incriminating about them. Like Nancy Pelosi, it was determined conclusively that she knew about 10,000 soldiers and turned it down. And if we used 500 soldiers, you would have had no problem, let alone 10,000.
Okay.
So,
yep.
Okay.
He just starts going off on the rails, dude. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Soldiers now? Come on, dude. We're talking about the documents and stuff.
So, if you were to take this to court, from what I understand, from what I have read it in articles, there currently is no law against signing stuff with the autopen. Like, there's no rules against it. Like, you can use it or whatever. There's nothing to say that you have to sign this way or this that way. But if that doesn't mean you couldn't take it to court, and then there was now court law established based on this. And if that happens and it's ruled that you can't, like what they did was illegal, like I feel like it would be illegal if this stuff was signed and implemented, like the pardons for congressmen and women and the J6 committee and all this shit, and Biden wasn't even around. That would be problematic.
What do you think, Greg? What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because, like, at that stage where you're making executive decisions, like literally you're the president, you'd think that you'd have to be, because the pen proves that you were physically there, you read it, you understood it. It's all implied, right?
Yeah.
And so the implication of a signature is like, I am putting my my gusto behind this. Yes, I agree with it, and here it is. I give it to you to do whatever the fuck you want with. But if you're just having a computer sign off of it, how do you even know if the president ever read it?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the thing. Okay, yeah. I don't think. First of all, I'm personally not against it. Not against the autopen. No, it's been so no. I sign so much shit at work all the time. I have a stamp. You know what I mean? With my initials on it.
You're also not a president of the United States.
Doesn't matter. I know, but hear me out. I get that, obviously. I'm not a president. But my point is like, Obama was the first one to actually use the autopen. And I think it was the first one he used it was when he was in France and they signed off some documents he wasn't there. So they used an autopen. He was aware of it, right? So the question is like, I don't really care about the autopen. I don't really think that everything has to be hand signed. That's not the point. But what they need to find out, which is going to be very difficult, is was he aware of what was being signed? So the autopen to me doesn't matter. But if somebody's fraudulently using the autopen,
that's where it becomes.
Yeah. So like, listen, if I've had people at my work, I just say, use my stamp. I know what you're doing. Go ahead and use the stamp and I'll keep doing what I'm doing and just go ahead. You know what I mean? I know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For like sign off shit. If he knew what was going on and he proved it, fine. Right? If he's aware of what was being passed, fine.
Yeah.
If somebody uses my stamp on something, and again, I'm not president, but if somebody uses my stamp to sign off on something that I'm unaware of, I will fire them.
Clearly fraudulent.
I will fire them.
Yeah.
So the question was, whoever signed this, was he privy to it or not? And how do you prove it? Because in this state, is he going to come out and just be like, yeah, of course I knew what that was. Yeah. I know all about it.
Well, how you would prove it is, like, especially on some of them, they would know his exact whereabouts when it was signed.
Doesn't matter. Obama signed his when he was in France, in America. That's why they started using it, because he wasn't in the States to sign it, so they used autopen.
Well, then I would ask, is there documented communication about that?
So I'm with you. I think with both
like an audit trail.
Yeah. So I just don't know how easy this is going to be to prove. And Trump has used him himself. Trump has
all it really takes is like Joe Biden to come out and say, yes, I was in the right state of mind. I knew what I was signing. Sorry.
He doesn't even say right state of mind. He just says, I'm well aware of the January 6th thing, and I told them to sign it for me.
Well, all of it were the pardons for like his family members, January 6th member.
Yeah.
I have the video, and it does a very good job of seeing the signatures and putting them all into one overlapping. It's literally like 5-10 seconds?
Yeah.
Show the big screen one, or like the zoomed in one.
This one?
As you can see, what is that? Biden family pardon.
Yeah, Biden family pardon, Dr. Fauci pardon, GFN Milley pardon.
Oh, General Milley.
Lundergan.
Yeah, the J6 committee pardon.
Okay.
So they bring them all.
And
together.
who knows if all these are like the real deal? It's just it's a edited video, obviously. But they're all the exact same. So it's like, okay, clearly it was an auto pen, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But to your point, Dave, we've been using this thing since Obama.
2000.
Well, yeah.
I think they said 2011. Now, here's the thing. The other thing is obviously technology's changing. I don't remember specifically them saying this, but I'm pretty sure they did. But even previous presidents to Obama had stamps, right? And they had secretaries that had stamps of their signatures. We've seen this with celebrities. We've seen this with all different people, right? They stamp their signature, which, as a collector, for example, you do not want secretary signing your name because that's not a legitimate autograph, right? For example. But I'm sure that there's other things that were used in the past when they couldn't physically sign it themselves but wanted to pass it forward, I think the issue is like what kind of fail stops. I guess my point is if this goes to court, I don't think any of this is getting overturned.
You don't think so?
No, I absolutely do not think so. That's just me personally. I don't think so. But going forward, is there going to be something where there has to be like the president actually has to sign a document wherever he is that says I'm well aware of law, blah, 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 or fucking this particular thing and autograph that as like a second document when he gets back to the White House.
Yeah, like
it's
aware
filed.
of use of the auto pen or something.
Yeah. Something that's a secondary firm because even though he's crazy and he would probably say that he knows about all of it, there's probably situations with that many people in government where they don't know who's signing shit. I mean, how many things are signed a day, right? And it's just snaps, How do you prove that it was all him? I don't know. We remember that thing that I showed you? I showed Chris a video where, who was it that was talking? It was the Speaker of the House, Johnson, and he was saying that he had that meeting with Biden, and he was talking about a law that had been passed that was hurting his state.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Biden's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, you signed it. This just happened. And he's like, no, that's not what that is. And he's like, he didn't even know what was going on. Now, if that's the case,
yeah,
we got some problems.
If you're signing things into laws and like he has no idea what the fuck's going on,
or if they lied, because what it sounds like in that case was that his people were telling him, "This is what this is. Go ahead and sign it," and he signed it.
Or with the pardons, even like if they were going in and using the auto pen and pardoning themselves without his knowledge or without his approval, knowing that like some shit could come down the line later, and we want to cover our ass.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not sure that this is. I mean, I think it's a good topic. I think it's an interesting one because I think that there needs to be some precedent set for it going forward. If that's going to be the case, there needs to be some precedent set.
There definitely has to be some kind of regulation on it.
I just don't.
Because I know Trump even came out today, like I think you said a little bit ago, he uses it.
He does, but he's like, I do unimportant documents.
Very unimportant documents.
Doesn't matter though. The point is your signature is your signature.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter if it's for whatever. I mean, you are letting that thing sign for you.
I personally think at a level that high, everything should be signed by that person. If you are a representative of the American people and you're signing things into law or signing things within that government agency that directly affect the American people, everything should be done by that person. There shouldn't be a machine where you're off doing some fucking other fundraiser thing or something and things are just being signed for you.
Yeah, it's weird because like we are in the digital age, and I know that there's certain programs where you have to sign digitally because it's like in an app or it's whatever. So if you're on the road, whatever, right? It's all about efficiency. So if you want the government to act quick, or do you want signatures to be in person?
Well, I mean, buy a house right now, buy a car. A lot of times you get an email and they want you to digitally sign shit on the email, and that's part of the thing. I mean, I've done it multiple times recently, right? And again, I understand that the levels, right, the importance of it. Now, the one thing I would argue with it is like obviously the president of the United States travels the world, and like sometimes he'll be here or he's at a summit in Europe, and let's say that there's this is just a emergency in the United States, right? And they need something signed quickly to start something, or something happens. Like maybe they need it quickly. Maybe they can't wait for him to travel for 8 or 10 hours.
Well, then why couldn't they do like when you're buying a house or something, and he could sign it digitally from wherever he's at, but he's still signing it. There's a timestamp of where, like an address of where it got sent to and a timestamp of when he did it. Like,
maybe there is.
That would be different than him being on a plane somewhere and then fucking Joe Blow in the White House just signing off shit with an autopen.
I think when you take it to court, they're going to say, Mr. Biden, President Biden, were you aware of this particular document that was being signed? And he goes, yes, I was aware of this document. And they're going to say, were you aware that it was signed by an autopen? Yes, I was not there. I approved the autopen. And they're going to say, okay. I mean, how else do you do anything? I mean, I don't know how you could possibly... Now, again, if you can go start having interviews with people and figure out that they were lying about what the bills were and he was approving them and they were signing off on shit that was not legitimate.
Yeah, thought they were one thing, but they were another.
Then I think that is of all this stuff is what we need to be talking about, or what could potentially be the fraud of it all. So I don't know that the autopen will, to Greg's point, I don't know if it's ever going to go away. We're in a time where this is what is being used right now. So
yeah, but there's other ways. Like,
yeah, listen, there's fail stops I think could be implemented for sure. I think there should be secondary documentation if you're out of
like a verifier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're not there to sign it in person, you have to do it either digitally or an autopen or something.
Why couldn't you make a video? Why couldn't you just say, I am Joe Biden. I approve the, just so everybody knows,
I approve the signing of blah, 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 blah.
Dude, you made me think of something.
Let's go.
Biometrics.
Oh.
Maybe Trump's going to start pushing for biometrics.
You just start signing
have an eye scan, have a fingerprint,
signing
have a
all the paperwork
pulse check, have whatever come from his body. You know what I mean?
Just start signing everything with a fingerprint.
You're like, it was me because my body had to be there in order for me to do this. So, biometrics. I can see it, dude.
And the technology to do that remotely is there too.
Yeah, you can open your phone with biometrics. So, I mean, why not?
Every day I clock into work, I put my thumb on that thing.
Really?
Oh yeah, we have thumbprint login.
That's weird.
Wow, look at you.
All my jobs, I for the past 15 years I've worked, I've
really?
always had thumbprint. Yeah,
that's weird. I've never done that.
You just put it on there and it's boop, David. Thank you.
I literally go on my phone, password. I'm working now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn. Let's see. That's
interesting.
Interesting.
The thumbprint is an interesting one because usually that's like for federal buildings and whatnot, like, or not federal, but like, I remember there was a testing center when I was in like college. I had to go to a testing center for a test, and I had to like put my hand. It was almost like one of those movies. I don't remember. Maybe like Men in Black or something. Where you put your hand on a scanner and it scans the whole hand.
What movie was it when they like had to slide their hand in the gel thing and it like made a replica of their whole hand?
I don't know. It wasn't that badass, but I mean, this one was like, "What is this? What are you doing to my fingertips?"
Yeah. Listen, I think it's
kind of got aroused a little bit.
Oh, damn, did you?
That's actually a National Treasure.
You felt very sci-fi.
Yeah, fucked up my test.
Now, National Treasure. Nicolas Cage, picks up the fingerprints off a wine glass, and then he takes that imprint and he makes fake fingerprints to stick on his hand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unavoidable. You know what I'm saying? If they want to do it,
I
like
like
it.
Spy 101. You know.
Yeah.
I dig it because I like that somebody else can't clock somebody into the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, say they're not there yet, and they hey bud, dude, clock me in, dude. I'm running late. You know, like you have to have
your finger.
Well, I mean, listen, yeah, in extreme cases, absolutely. He just lops it off and hands it to his buddy, like, keep this for safekeeping.
I'm gonna be late.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is, you know. But I'm just saying that technology is already being implemented in a lot of aspects, and again, I just think that with all the technology, there's no reason that like he couldn't come out and make video documentation, or that would be the best way, right? Other than the fact you could say it's a deep fake, which sure, but the fact that he comes out and says, "I approve the signing of C-37, you know, whatever it is," and then that's it, just a 5-second video. That way, when they say, "Well, did you really?" and he's like, "Well, pull up the fucking video archives, and there it is. I approved it on August 13th of fucking 20 whatever."
Yeah, or I mean, just have him sit at the desk, like Chris is saying. It's like you're the president. You can get a flight whenever the fuck you want, and it's going to be a nice flight, and you can be back in the office like within the day. So it's like, just if you have a rule where you have a pen and paper and you have to sit behind the desk in the Oval Office to sign whatever, make a fucking rule and just have them do it. Like, it's one guy. it's not that big of a deal.
I just like, at what point does it just like, all right, guys, we're scrapping here. We're getting in the weeds on this a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel about it. Like, Trump does it as well. And going forward, presidents will do it. And like, you elect people hoping that they're
saying, like, are we focusing on something that it's not that important?
My thing is like, I think Trump hates what was signed. And I think we can agree that it was bullshit. And I think that this is a thing that he can try to, and unless I like Trump, but I think this is a thing that he can try to delegitimize this particular situation. And maybe to some extent there's some truth to it if they can dig it up, right? But at the same time, it's like, what's going to happen is he's eventually not going to be in office. And then they're going to say, well, Trump did it. And they're going to go back and say, we should remove all this. And it's just like, it's starting a fucking thing, which I don't think is ever going to end. So like, why not just, okay, we do this, that's fine, but we need something else to back up that you actually signed it or approved it. It's not hard.
Right now, it's up to the courts now, I guess. Yeah. Like, it's not going to be a Trump thing. It's like, did the courts find that this was legally okay? Because like, I don't even know, like, how did they even introduce the autopen? Like, who signed off on the introduction and the creation of this thing?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It must have been a solid reason and like, checks and balances, right?
Yeah. So
because it's our government, they wouldn't like skirt around.
There's no law for this. It says here, Barack Obama became the first president to do so May 2011 when he signed an extension of the Patriot Act. Obama was in France on official business, and with time running out before the law expired, he authorized use of the autopen to sign it into law. Much earlier guidance of pardons was sent in 1929 from Solicitor General. The attorney was arguing for the United States before the Supreme Court. To the Attorney General, it says neither the Constitution nor any statute prescribes the method by which executive clemency shall be exercised or evidenced. I don't know what that means, but there you go. So, I mean, and that's that, I guess, to my point, that's what I was talking about, right? So if he's in France and something expires, like this has to be signed by midnight tonight. I understand that he has the capabilities to fly anywhere in the world, but if you're doing a summit or you're doing a conference or whatever it may be, and something needs to be signed, I think there has to be a way for a president to say, yes, that can be signed. I approve this signature on here, and it's his signature in autopen. We have to find a way for that to happen because I don't see how that is unavoidable. I think it's unavoidable is what I should say.
Yeah, like he's got to go places. What I mean?
This article says the autopen is even different than using like electronic signatures and shit. It actually is a machine. If people don't know what an autopen is, it's an actual machine that you feed it a signature. Like you give it a picture or like a copy of the signature that somebody just did, and then it's a mechanical thing that holds an actual pen and does an almost exact replica of that signature.
Does it have to be a signature that you just did? Or could it just be a copy that you have on the file here?
I think it just can be a copy. You just feed it a signature and it
and see, they're fucking morons. You know what? Here's what I would say. We have the technology. Why would they not make a machine that says, hey, make every signature slightly variant to another? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's really like a fucking do. Like,
well, you could with like AI and shit.
Yeah, you could just say, make it to where every signature is a little bit off, but it's all the same signature.
We found out lately that all the fucking computer systems in the fucking government are fucking 50 years old. So they don't have any of that shit.
Fuck, that's true, man. They're probably old.
That's why they probably older than that, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know, man.
He's gonna AI the fuck out of our government. Like, come on, bro.
We're not gonna stop
like AI and a 3D printer. Dang, watch out.
Yeah, we're not gonna stop it. Now, here's the thing: there's gonna be a lot of good shit that comes from this. I mean, there will be. There will be great things that I think people will benefit greatly from all this stuff. And obviously, we just gotta watch for the negatives. But
I think they should get rid of it altogether. I think if a president is going to be signing off on something, he should have had to have. And the same thing with Trump. I know Trump probably doesn't go through and read every fucking thing he signs. He gets a summary from someone that did read it.
Yep.
I think a president should have to go through and read the fucking documents and know exactly what's fucking in there and understand them before he signs them.
Do you think Congress actually does that, though?
No.
No. That's why they make the fucking bills 1 billion pages long, because they know nobody's actually going to read it.
Yeah, I listen. I understand from the where you're coming from it, and I agree with that. But it's just not going to happen.
I just feel like there's an opportunity to create even more accountability within the federal government.
But the thing is anytime you're working with other people or leading other people, and you have, you are this position and you have people underneath you that are managers or supervisors or they're secretaries or secretaries of states or whatever it is, right? You're the head honcho and you got people below you. The reason you bring those people in is to delegate and to have them give you the information. They're obviously tasked with that particular task, right? So Hagseth is running this and he's, okay, so what's going on, Hagseth? Sir, this is what's happening right now. No. This is what's going on. Okay, you bring that person on, trusting that person that they give you the information you need to make decisions. There's no way that a person can read. I mean, he would just be sitting at the desk 24/7 reading documents, and no one wants that from the president, right? There's more to it. So I understand, and I agree with you on a lot of stuff, but unfortunately, with the way that they write bills out, that would be a daunting task.
Well, then maybe that's another thing that needs to change. Maybe it needs to get to like we've talked about before, where it's a one topic thing at a time.
But again, you'd still be signing 500 documents. You'd just be sitting at a table, and I don't know that that's what people want. Because each one of those bills, I mean, Greg, how many things are in a filibuster bill or any of this stuff? I mean, there's hundreds, I'm guessing, of different topics.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Like, why is it, you shouldn't have that many in one thing?
I know, but even if they broke it down,
you don't even need to create why is there this many bills having to be created constantly? It doesn't need to be.
I get you. Listen, I'm with you. And maybe there's a point where they kind of trim that down, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, I don't think this is a big thing. I don't think this is going to become a big thing or any of that. I don't think anything's getting overturned. I think
it seems like a topic filler, you know what I mean? Or almost like, it seems kind of like Trump wants to keep the spark alive for his supporters. So he's like, we're going to overturn those pardons and I'm going to go after, you know what I mean? It's almost like clickbaity. That's
what I'm saying. Like something down the line. What if it actually, those pardons and all shit does actually get overturned in a court because they weren't actually signed by the President of the United States. And now there's investigations and the people that created those pardons. And it turns out the people that created the pardons are the people that were being pardoned.
But they're pardoned from federal charges.
Yeah.
Well, would it not be a federal charge?
There's leeway for civil charges somewhere,
sure.
Especially with Fauci. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like civil courts can go up the yin yang with Fauci accusations.
But do we need that though? I mean, and being honest, do we need them to serve jail time? I mean, I think we all want them to. They deserve to in some aspects. But at the end of the day, just because they're pardoned doesn't mean they can't pursue the case and expose everything that they did. Yeah. They just can't go to jail for it. But if they come out and they destroy Fauci with facts and saying this is what happened, and had he not been pardoned, he'd be serving life in prison, for example, the public opinion will be so great that what are they going to look at OJ? I mean, what kind of life did he have even after being found innocent, right? He was just, no one trusted him. No one thought he was actually innocent. And he just had a miserable life trying to reclaim some money, and he was in no.
I mean, I think it seemed miserable because it was only highlighted during his bad spells, but the guy's living free. You know what I mean?
I understand that. And that's probably not the best example, to be fair. But I'm just saying, you go out in public, and no matter where you go, I'm sure a lot of people are just like, man, that fucking murderer. You can't avoid that. And so maybe you're just you have no conscience, and you're like, that's fine. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. But you feel it.
And yeah, I mean, to your point, I don't think only these people that Joe Biden pardoned are to blame.
Oh, I agree.
So for me, it's whatever, right? If you take care of these people, that's fine. But it's like throwing red meat to a fucking dog who was hungry or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, it would be. It's those people need to be punished for what they did. But who else was connected? Why were they doing it? And what is this whole game we're playing here? You know,
I'm with you.
That's what I want to know.
It doesn't have to cease. That's what I'm trying to say, though. Just because they're pardoned doesn't mean we just, well, guys, we can't talk about this anymore. They can still release all the information. They can still dig. They can still figure out why he did it or how much he did. He just can't be prosecuted for it. But to Greg's point, they're just one of many pieces of this whole thing. And so at the end of the day, they're all old for the most part and going to die within the next 10 years, a lot of them. And the other ones that are surviving are going to have to deal with the fact that people realize how corrupt they were.
I don't think they care.
They may not, They may not, but
what does that accomplish?
It accomplishes the fact that we can still have a discussion about normal citizens seeing how corrupt this was, and that they were also pardoned, knowing that they were corrupt, right? And okay, so everybody's gonna say, yeah, but they can't go to jail, but now we know you guys are fucking pieces of shit. We all know you're pieces of shit.
Let's let them go be corrupt. While not being in the spotlight.
The point is, and that's what I'm going with.
I don't think they would know for a while, but it just depends, man. Because like the ebbs and flow of information, who's in charge, who gets to write about the history of this shit? Because it's like history can change whoever wants to change it, you know. And like they're trying to erase history, like in schools, and like topple statues and like teach history in a different way. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, they'll be, you know, for now, it'll be looked at as like, okay, yeah, these guys are pieces of shit. And maybe that lasts for a couple of years, you know, 10 years at most, like if we're lucky. But it's like the way that the news cycle moves, it would be in one ear out the other. People would, you know, he could just, if Fauci went to just some random island somewhere, I'm sure he could walk around on a beach and no one would know who he was.
I know, but I guess, yeah, you're right. And I think what I'm trying to get at is that like they're not, we can make change beyond them. So like to me, it doesn't matter. Like Fauci should be in prison. Is he going to be? No, obviously not. But like if we get enough information out there, and I understand what you're saying, but if information is out there, the idea is that going forward, we can't change that shit. The pardons are there. It's the same with the pen. They did it. They're not going to probably get it overturned. It happened. But what can we do going forward to not have it happen like that again? So
yeah, I'd say like as far as the information, like just specifically for Fauci, if you read RFK Jr.'s book, like The Real Dr. Fauci or something like that, The Real Anthony Fauci, all the information's there, dude.
It's there.
Like there's a lot of information to implicate the guy on crimes. So I don't know, like the information's already there. So it's like, this is literally the last step. It's, you know, getting a judge to persecute, you know. I don't know if we're going to get that.
No, I don't think we're going to get that. But if another situation happens where we have a COVID-like situation, right, whatever the next thing that they decide to do is, the hope would be that people are going like, man, we need to know more about this. Whoever that person that is put in charge, we can't allow what happened with Fauci to happen with this guy. What does this guy do? What has he supported in the past? Maybe people would be more.
Well, do you know who our current Surgeon General is now?
Not off the top of my head.
He's the one who wanted mandates. He wanted if you like didn't support mandates, like you got to fire people type of thing. He was, I think, the Surgeon General still under Joe Biden.
What's his name?
I don't remember his name. He's like an Indian guy, I want to say, from India. Maybe, or at least he looks. I don't know. I don't want to judge, but he was the Surgeon General all through COVID, after Donald Trump, and so he was pushing for mandates. He was pushing for firings. He was pushing for masking, all of this stuff. So he's still in charge because
is it a chick?
No. So Trump's. Well, wait, who are you looking at? Denise Hinton?
Janet Nashwat?
So, yeah, that's Trump's appointed
This is getting
or appointment.
forming. Another Fox News alert. Trump has just named.
So she has not gotten in yet. And that's the thing is they can take their sweet-ass time getting her in.
Yeah.
The last Surgeon General, I think, wasn't in until, like, midway or at the end of March. But, like, right now, there's no... like topics on the docket to vote for her.
Yeah.
And even her, she's kind of fucking wishy-washy, and she was like doing nursing videos. She was like saying like all this stuff about masks and the effectiveness and like the effectiveness of boosters and all the, like she was following the science to like a T. And yeah, she came out and she kind of switched that, but she was switching it when everybody was doing it, and it was like popular to switch it. She didn't switch it and know that information when it mattered the most, and that's what's concerning. Is you have these people willing to push the science, and what are we gonna do? I don't know. It's just scary that those people are in those positions right now. Yeah. And Denise Hinton, she's the deputy surgeon general right now, and she's the one who authorized the EUA because she was serving as the chief scientist at the time that Pfizer wanted to come out with their jab, and so she was the one who granted the EUA, their emergency use authorization.
Yeah.
So now she's the deputy, so she's right below the Surgeon General. So if if there is no Surgeon General, the deputy steps up and she's the acting Surgeon General. So it's just like, what?
Yeah.
So the foundation is still there for a lot of crazy shit to still happen.
I agree. How do we get over that? I don't know. But a lot of people go to the doctor, and I would say like just your general doctor. Are people just asking like, what did you support? I would say majority of doctors, unfortunately, supported this shit. Whether they just did not look into it or just trusted everything. And so do we just get rid of them all? You know what I mean? Like at some point we got to like, okay, we understand it's fucked up. It was not good. These doctors who are supposedly very smart and well-educated were not willing to look past what, people were saying and just only what the CDC was saying. And that's wrong. But how do we decipher all them? I mean, a lot of them. I mean, any small town, you go, your doctor, you get a checkup, you're checking on your stuff. Like that guy probably more than likely supported this thing at one point. You just quit.
Yeah, it became like, like at least in the small town, it became a thing where it's like when you're trying to change doctors, because I quit my doctor right when this stuff all happened. And then you have to like ask around, be like, okay, how's your doctor? Oh, okay, did they they push the jab on you? And they're like, no, like he doesn't do that. He does not agree with it. And so you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's some good ones out there.
There are good ones out there. Unfortunately, a lot of ones that I don't want to say they're bad. I want to just say like you fucked up royally. You know what I'm saying? Like you did not study, you did not understand it, you weren't even willing to try to understand it, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I just don't know how you get past that, I guess.
Right. Yeah, and like honestly, when you're looking at the impact and the consequences of people were saying 3 million people are going to die because of this, you know what I mean? Like I'm talking about the other thing that was put into people on purpose.
Yeah.
There's not as many people dying as you would expect, right? Wow. So there's some reason why they wanted this inside of people, but it wasn't to kill everybody off.
Yeah, that was a pretty fringy thing. Like, I mean, we obviously had those discussions because it's like those are possibilities, right? But like,
I mean, there definitely was excess death. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
like
heart
the
issues.
Excess death was through the roof.
Yeah. There was 100%. There was major issues. It's not.
Yeah.
But there was points where people were discussing, including ourselves, like if this is a possibility or not. That they're doing this on purpose to eliminate a lot of people, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now we're years removed now. I mean, at the time we're like, hey, next year. Remember, we're like maybe next year. We're years removed now, and so are there health issues? 100%. Are there things that we don't even know? 100%, dude.
That's what I think. I think it might have been to inflict health issues because you're creating customers at that point. You don't want the people to die. You want customers. And you do that by getting them sick, getting them weak, and then they come to you for medications, prescriptions, all that stuff, right? So I think that it was possibly that, or you can look at it from a totally like different angle of like technology, because it's described as a technology, not a medication.
That's true.
If you read all about it, right? If you really look into the fine details, it's called a technology. And so it's like people have technology inside of them right now. We're on this verge of AI. Elon Musk just talked about it. What is it? The point of synchronicity, wherever that's not the word, but where AI and man like
singularity or something.
Singularity. There we go. And then after that point, AI just fucking rules the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know. There's that angle too. It's like, were they preparing us for some sort of transhumanism experiment?
Well, he also did come out and say that he personally thinks it's going to be an 80% chance of it being used for good, 30% chance, or 20% chance it's used for bad.
AI?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, everything.
It's weird.
Everything.
After saying it summons the demon, it's a weird thing to say.
all this stuff is like the internet is great and it's also used for bad. I mean, it just depends on the person. It's just it's a tool. That's it. And so there's no doubt that AI is going to be used for evil shit. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's also going to be used for good things. So it's like, how do you weigh those things out? Now, as far as like what you're saying, sure. I think it's hard. Like when there is no answer, then we have an open playbook of like, what can it be? Was it that they were trying to make us sick? Was it that they were trying to, get more money from people because they'd be sick? Or was it just greed? I mean, was it the fact that they were making billions and were totally fine putting something in the market that had no testing done? And it's just, that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? It's just
not only that,
money.
But it is greed. I always say like the only color they care about is green, but it could be gold. Who knows?
Yeah. Green or gold.
But the thing is like if you make people sick and then you have maybe you have a Project Stargate come out where now you can create something to cure their sickness. You know what I mean? So it's like even more money. You know what I mean? It's like a rotating, hey, let's make people sick, then we can give them our other product.
Yeah.
It's the
I don't think that, listen, I don't think that that's a thing that they're mad about, whether they intentionally did or didn't. If they were to say, well, listen, guys, we're pushing this out really fast. We haven't tested it. We think it's fine. If it's not fine, we'll still make some money. You know what I'm saying? Like people will be sick. They're going to need other medications. And it's a secondary cause that they're not mad that it happened.
Yeah, it's a product off a product.
There you go. Is that the intention? I think you could argue it both ways. I think I would like to think that, even though I know it's not true, I'd like to think that they rushed a thing that they thought would help and it did not help and it made things worse. And the shittiest part about it to me was they didn't admit it when they knew that it didn't work.
Exactly.
That's the fucking problem. If you would have came out and said, guys,
hopeless, dude.
Quit taking this shit. I know we said it was good, but we found out that it's not good. Stop fucking taking it. It is not a good drug. Then you could at least have some fucking dignity. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we were trying to save the world, but this shit's not good for you. Stop taking it.
Yeah, but they're making so much money.
That's the problem. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you know how far owning up to something goes. Like when you really are wrong in your life at any point, and you just say, I snapped on a worker today. I was like, I'm stressed. I've had a really long week at work. And I kind of just snapped at a guy. I'm like, dude, just fucking leave me the fuck alone. Like, just quit telling me what to do. I know what I'm doing. And I went back. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. It means a lot when you can admit that you were wrong or that you know what I mean? And no one has admitted this shit. No one has admitted that it's been wrong, man.
Right. And that's my whole thing is the scariest, most hopeless thing is when you can see something that is clearly not right. And the medical professionals, the whatever professionals cannot see that and they're pushing it on you. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where there was a timeline where it wasn't okay to say something. Like this whole video that we're discussing right now, we're being real careful with what we say, but like someone might watch this and be like, oh, they're talking about this. And then all of a sudden YouTube's gone. You know what I mean? So the censorship was off the chain, so you couldn't talk about it. And then it's like, okay, well, then what do? We get into our groups, we go off to Rumble, we go off to somewhere else. But like, there became a point where all these big name people started talking about the inefficiency of the miracle medicine. And like, just there became a point where it was okay to talk about it. But that's too late. For me, like, that's too late. For a lot of people who like had family members who died, who couldn't see their family members in the hospital, and then they died. It's too late, man. Like, you got to speak out about this shit when it's happening, or it doesn't fucking matter. Like, you're useless to me, to this whole world.
Yeah,
like,
I know, but
because you turned your head, like, when everybody else, and it was popular to do that, like, fuck you. You know what I mean?
I get you. I see that Richard's like, Dave, you're being too charitable. These people are evil. Yes, there's a lot of people that are very fucking evil. I don't think that all doctors that's what I was trying to say earlier. I don't know that all the doctors who were dumb and naive and not actually taking second opinions are evil.
Just a gullible.
Just dumb.
Or even a gullible cow.
Just dumb. But here's the thing, though. To what you just said, man. We didn't know exactly what this all meant when it was coming out, okay? But we all had I'm talking about us three here. I can only speak for us because we've had discussions. We all felt uneasy about it to the point where we said, we're not doing this and we're not fucking taking it. Fuck that shit, right? Whatever was happening, we were like, I don't like this. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
And I told every person that I could, that's all we can do is tell the people in our community. So if your grandma got it, my mom went and got the shot, which I'm not happy about it. Okay. But I won't say she was tricked, but she was tricked. Okay. She was at the doctor. They said that she had to because of her MS. That's bullshit. She did not have to. But my point is our thing is that we have to tell people. And if you tell all the people that you know, and I tell the people that I know, like, hey man, just please reconsider. Just hold off and let this happen. See what goes on. Maybe we can find out more. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's not. We did that. And I think there's a lot of people in our friend groups that didn't get it because of that.
Yeah.
So I know what you're saying is too late, man, but like we all could say it. We could talk to our people that we knew. And I'm hoping that some people, and we know a lot of people that didn't get the shot, right? Some people did, man. You can't stop it. I told my dad, he still got it, man. I told him.
But we can say it, but it's a conspiracy until somebody up in the upper ranks or the upper ranks says it. You know, like if Joe Rogan comes out and says it, oh, wait a second. Now there's some clarity here.
That's always
there might
like
be
that,
something
though.
to that.
It's
You know what
always
I mean?
like that, though. That's because they're people that people trust. Whether you like them or not, I'm just saying for whatever reason, that's why these shitty news anchors, even though they suck, people are like, well, I trust Rachel Maddow. Why? But they do. So when she says something...
She's on TV.
She's on TV, man. I've been watching her for years. She's never led me wrong. It's unfortunate that obviously we don't have that clout, and a lot of podcasts don't have Joe Rogan's clout. But when he comes out and he says it...
Right. But I'm just saying, like, even at the level of physician, you know, like, I'm certainly not a doctor. And so if a family member comes up and says, hey, okay, buddy. Love you, buddy. But if my family member comes up and says, well, my doctor said to get this and it's perfectly fine and to not worry about any of this stuff that you're talking about. So I trust him over you, you know, and it's like, it's sad that,
yeah. What do you do about that?
People,
you can't do
your
anything
family
about it.
members trust a doctor over your own family member. It's like, I don't want you to die.
Yeah.
And he's like a doctor. He doesn't care about you.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to be over charitable here, but what I am trying to say is you are a grown ass person. I am a grown ass person, and we have to be responsible for the things that we do and the things that we put into our bodies. And if somebody can just tell you, Greg, this is great, and you just go, yes, that is great, then you have to face the consequences of what you did. That's all it is, man. If you want to do drugs, and everybody tells you, man, those drugs are bad, but you're like, dude, what's a little meth?
Drugs are bad.
And you become a meth head. That is your doing. It's not because we didn't teach you or that somebody said it wasn't bad. It's you chose to put that shit in you.
Yeah, but Dave...
Sometimes, until the mandates kick in, and then also, like, the persuasion. Like, the persuasion is a problem, man. Like, when you have people in high influence and they have a lot of knowledge and a lot of smarts, and they're telling people that, hey, this shit works, and you go out and get it. It's the new latest and greatest thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem, man.
Yeah.
Like, influence has, like, your upper or your status has influence.
I understand. And it's not right. Okay? None of it's right. I just want to be very, very clear, because I don't consider this charitable. I'm trying to make a point that, like, there's a lot of really terrible shit. The foods we eat, the fucking people that we follow, the fucking, I mean, just name it, right? Influences everywhere. We all have to make our choices. That's all I'm trying to say. And so, like, I understand what you're saying, that, like, well, you know, there's some people that, well, then that's what you get. Like, why did you do it? Why did you not do it? I should say. Why did a lot of these people listening not do it? Were they privy to something that no one else knew? Like, no, they just were like, I'm going to look into this more. Okay. And if you don't want to look into it more, then shame on you, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that going forward that people will go, yeah, we were fooled before and we will look into this more so we understand it better. But shit, man. I mean, we can make excuses all day. All our friends that were drug addicts, they can make excuses of why they became drug addicts. Okay, but at the end of the day, you didn't become a drug addict, Greg. I did not become a drug addict. They did. Why?
Because
Chris
addiction is a disease.
He's on, like, his
I know, Chris is pill popping over here like a motherfucker.
Addiction's a disease. You don't get a choice. Didn't
bullshit,
you know that?
Man. I'm not into it. I'm not into it, man. All I'm saying is like, if every group of friends or family, there's always people that don't do something that could have, We all could have done drugs. We all could have been that person, but we didn't. And you want to say, well, it's parenting, or it's Greg, you just made better decisions. Okay. But like, our friends didn't have to. They were pressured into it. And we couldn't. You remember? I'm not going to get into details, but there was times where I even talked to their fucking family, right? I went to their fucking dad and said, your kid is on drugs. I hate to be that guy. No more friend with that kid anymore.
Yeah.
But like, it's not about that shit. They just wanted to do it. And so I guess what I'm trying to get at without getting long-winded is that like, it doesn't matter how much information you put out there or what somebody, like, people will just do things that we all disagree with. And you can't stop it.
Oh yeah, I know. That's clear. I'm totally clear with that. If like there weren't mandates, I wonder like what the level setting would be there. I bet you way less than 20% would get it.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, just because this is relevant, right? So doctors nowadays, especially in certain cities and other things, they'll say, well, kids can transition, right? This is relevant, trust me. So you go to the doctor with your daughter, your son, and they're saying, well, I just heard them say that they're a boy. Is that something? You're not just going to be like...
I turn to him, I say, run.
Okay. But my point is does that automatically, you or anybody really go like, you're right, doc. I think he probably is a boy, or she is a boy. You're right. No. Like, just because they say something doesn't mean we just take it for granted. Like, you just listen to everything your doctor says? Like, when you go there, they told me I was morbidly obese the last time I went. You're morbidly obese. I'm like, well, my grandma's morbidly obese.
Thanks, you prick.
I love her, but I'm saying my grandma is morbidly obese. I would not, I'm a big guy, but I wouldn't consider, me morbidly obese is like, give me a fucking wheelchair. I need help.
Yeah.
Okay. So did I just go, damn it, guys, I've got an illness. I am morbidly obese.
Time to get that fucking handicap access.
There we go. What kind of fucking shit do I get from this, dude? You know what I mean? Do I need a tummy tuck? Is that what's happening? My point is like him saying that doesn't make me go like, yep, I definitely am. I can't move. I can't move anymore, guys. I am morbidly obese.
I know this, but this is a recommendation from the entire world, the entire every government agency, all of the facilities, the medical facilities. Everybody was saying this is something that you should do that will help your body and it will improve your life.
And that should have been the number one reason why you should have said, wait a second. Everybody in the world thinks this is the best thing. I don't think so, dude.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. Like, if you're very naive and you don't notice trends in things and you're not paranoid at all, then yeah, you would just be like, fuck yeah, let's do this and get over with it. Because a lot of people thought that stick it in you and then all this stuff goes away. But then when the second round came and the third round came, and I'm talking the boosties.
Oh, make sure you get your boosters. Like, obviously, when that started happening with the boosters, like, the participation started going down pretty drastically.
Yeah.
So I mean, after the first one,
wonder,
a lot of people did wise up. They're like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Now that is a choice. That is a choice beyond choice. I'm sure there were mandates to get the fourth one.
No such.
But I don't know.
No such thing.
I don't know if there was.
People can say fucking mandate all you want. They can't force you to put something inside your body.
Well, and there's yearly ones now. So it's combined with the flu shot too. So
yeah. I feel like we've just lost I can't think of the word right now, but I just feel like as a society and as a people and individuals, like, we just lost the idea that we can stand up to something. Like, we just roll over to everything. And I hate it because I know for a fact, I know what we were going through together, right? Like, we all had discussions at some point behind the camera, off camera, that we're just like, man, what's your job doing, man? Like, what's my job doing? Like, oh fuck, they might be doing a mandate, you know what I mean? And we all had this discussion of what are we going to do? Yeah. I'm not going to get the shot. So what do we do? And those were discussions that I had with my wife. I'm sure you've had those with your wife at the time, or I don't remember how deep it went, but we were close. My job was close, man. They were taking surveys, who's not, how many people are. I mean, it got to the point where if you weren't vaccinated, you had to wear a mask still. And if you were, so then you go into the work and you're like, Okay, you piece of shit, you took it because you're not wearing a mask today, and all the rest of the crew's wearing it.
Yep, my work
that
did
shit
that.
happened.
They're looking at you the exact same way. You piece of shit, you're wearing a mask. You didn't take it.
You're gonna kill us all.
Yeah, and I was like, listen,
You're
Billy,
gonna kill my grandma.
You're 400 pounds. I know you took it, but you're probably gonna die before all of us because you're obese. You're
my
very
work
obese.
did you don't have to wear a mask anymore if you took it. They also put, if you got it, you got put into a raffle to win a car.
Yeah. It's a shame tactic,
And
though,
then
right?
and then also
tactic.
if you didn't get it, now your insurance is going up.
Yeah. And our customers at the time knew, right? Because they would come in and they'd be like, why is he not wearing a mask? And you'd be like, oh, he's vaccinated. And they're like, they'd look around, they'd be like, so that because everybody else, I'm serious. We had like one guy at my last store, one dude who had the shot, right? And he didn't wear a mask, and everybody, and they're like, so none, I'm like, none of us, dude. No, we're not doing it. Like, well, wear the fucking mask. Ooh. But it was just like a shame thing. They wanted people to be like, oh, look at those people. They have to wear it. Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, if the job did that, I think we were all in a position where, like, and I told my wife, like, if I have to find something else, I got to find something else. There were jobs that were not doing that. And so if you were at the point where you were just going to go get it because there was no other choice, there is always another choice.
There's always a choice.
There's always a choice. It may not be fun. It may not be enjoyable. But, like, if you don't stand up for what you think and believe, then fuck you. I mean, then
Dude, that and honestly,
myocarditis
that's
it
why,
up.
Yeah, and that's why I respected all the doctors, all the the people that were actually standing up during that time.
Yes.
And losing their jobs. I mean, definitely shunned by society. But there was that like pigeonhole of like information. And honestly, that's like when our podcast was getting its biggest it has ever been, is during that time, because like people were looking for an answer. They're like, what the hell is going on? And yeah, we were kind of going down the wrong rabbit hole of like maybe Oprah's getting arrested. It was fucking fun, but none of it was really happening. You know, it's like what was really happening was they were shutting everybody down, enforcing mandates, and then next thing you know, like Trump's not taking back the country, and we're stuck with 4 more years of.
I will say though, Brett Weinstein was, when he was on Rogan, he was talking about these people that were really pushing this and not going back and actually, like, you know, they just kind of, oh no, what are you talking about? I was always for, you know, like, it's just a shame. You could go back to all of our oldest videos and you will find many, many discussions where we never pushed this. We never talked about it. And there's many podcasts that go into their history and you'll realize they were always on that side of things. You know what I'm saying? We were wrong about a lot of shit. We got sidetracked on a lot of shit. And that's just, like you said, that's fun. It's good humor at the time. It's like, is it real? Who knows? Just a lot of the stuff we're talking about right now. Like, is this stuff going to happen? Who knows? But we never pushed it. Never pushed it. And I think a lot of people, they should be recognized for the fact like that. Now, to be fair, Joe Rogan's of the world, even if they're late, right? You can't deny what that did, because when CNN went after Joe Rogan and they made the fake videos of him looking all fucking gray, and they started telling me he was lying, like, sure, he was later than most people talking about this corruption, but like you have the right to like eventually get it as well. You know what I mean? We can't just be like, well, you didn't do it soon enough. Like, sometimes it takes people a long time, man. Sometimes it takes a personal thing to happen, and then they go, I was duped. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like when you're all in the media and you're all in, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have massive audiences and then you don't get it until it's popular to get it. Like, that's just.
I just think like what's popular is like debatable. Like when you say, well, when it was popular, it's debatable. And like, when did it become popular? Like, who started the popular? Like, you have to, the goal for us is to have everybody understand that it was wrong. And like, that may have taken a month, or you were always thought it was wrong, or it took a year afterwards. The fact is when people now are going like, man, I was a fucking idiot, and it's 2 years down the road, it's like, I'm not going to be like, fuck you, man. You should have, I'm just like, I hope you learn something. I hope you don't die from this shit down the road, because, you know, your heart's all fucking going to explode. I don't want anybody dying from it. I know too many people that got it. I don't want to see people have heart issues. I don't want to see people have like these long fucking COVID shit that's going on, or whatever you want to call it. But those are probably from the vaccine. Let's be real. I don't want to see anybody hurt from it. But if you did it, like, there's a consequence to it, and that's all it is.
There's actually articles that coming out saying that is what it is. The long COVID isn't long COVID. It's they're calling it a vaccine injury now.
Articles from
I can't like bring one. I could probably find one, but I heard or read people talking about it on X and shit.
Is it like conservativebeaver.com? Because like, we gotta stay clear from that one. You know.
I mean, and to be fair, I'm sure there's people
always
that
trust
didn't
the beaver.
Get the vaccine.
Oh, yeah.
I never got the vaccine, and ever since I had pneumonia from it, right? I got COVID and I got pneumonia. Like, there's been things that I'm just like, man, I just feel like I've never got over certain things. Yeah. Like, my breathing, like as far as being out of breath sometimes. Now, granted, I'm a little bit heavier, you know what I'm saying? But like ever since I had pneumonia, I was like, man, I don't feel like I'm on the same
level. There's a lot of people like that.
So that's not vaccine related.
Denver comes back.
Yeah. So I don't know that's not vaccine issues. That's just you got an ailment and it caused a long-term thing. So I'm sure there's people that are dealing with shit to some extent. But man, I just hope that we don't see like it in 10, 20 years. I think that's where really this bubble will pop is in 20, 15 years when children are getting to 16, 17 years old that were given birth with their mother having a vaccine in them.
Or the kids they were given to like right away.
Oh, dude, I just, that's what scares me the most is not now. It's been what, 5 years. I'm worried about when those kids become young adults or what kind of issues are they going to have? I think that's if everything passes through and they're like, hey, everybody seems to be okay. Okay. Right. Great.
Well, yeah, and I was trying to find out, like, so the deputy surgeon general right now, she was the one who also reauthorized or reissued the emergency use authorization for, I believe, 11-year-olds. So that's as young as she went, 11 to whatever, 16, and then said, like, anybody above. And I was trying to find out, like, who gave the authorization for infants, right? Like, who is to blame for saying it was okay to pump this stuff into babies. And I looked it up, and it was a committee. Like, it was the chief scientists for the first several EUAs. And then it, like, once it went to children, it was like, hey, we're not just doing one person anymore. We're actually having a full committee. And finding information on those people is very hard.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you have to submit a FOIA to find out who all those people were. And I'm like, what? Why can't we know? Shouldn't we know who all these people were who made that decision? Like, it's okay to put this stuff into infants?
Even if they said that it was okay, like, hey, you can do it. If you're a parent and you want your child to have it, we allow you to do that, right? Like, isn't it just sad that it's like, depending on what family you're born into, you know what I mean? Like, look at like the people that are trans and look at their parents and you're going to go, oh yeah, I could definitely see them having trans kids. Like, the mom's like, I have 3 trans children. It's like, you made 3 trans children.
The odds of that are...
Yeah, you created it, plus you also
I only wanted 2, but I got 3.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's just...
How lucky am I?
If you're born into a family that's extremely liberal, right? Like, I'm just over the past couple of years, that there's a high chance that they are going to want to vaccinate their children to oblivion. And it is what it is. Do they have the right to do it? I guess.
Well, that's the thing is liberals used to never be okay with all that stuff, right?
Used to. But that is kind of the thing now. Can we not agree? I mean, I don't think a lot of conservative parents were going to get their kids jabbed up at fucking 6 months old or a year old. You know, I'm sure they did some, but
no, there's quite a few that have actually probably skipped the traditional vaccination shit altogether now.
Yeah.
So it kind of took people in the extreme the other way with that kind of shit.
Yeah. And I always wonder, like, was that purposeful? Like, to make us lose trust in the good of science.
That could be true, man.
Science can be used for good, right? It's like, how do you crumble the whole fucking thing? Like, you get people to never trust medicine that actually would work, right?
That's the problem with going too deep with it, is that you could have such a mistrust that you don't have things that are actually helpful. Again, the vaccines, we have that. That's a whole nother conversation. But I'm just saying, like, we've all been vaccinated when we were children. Are they good? I don't know. I'm not saying they're good or bad, but there are medicines that are very good. There's medicines that are very, very good, very helpful for people. But when you cause a mistrust, that's what you get.
Well, yeah, I saw like a poll, like a doctor, like a Twitter doctor. I don't know.
Yeah.
She put out a poll. Oh, I have it right here. Mary Tally Bowden, MD. And she just said, do you trust doctors? And this was 32,640 votes. Final results. What's the percentage do you guys think said no?
How many? 32,000?
That mistrust doctors?
32,640 people voted. And the question was, do you trust doctors, yes or no? What's the percentage of people that said no?
What was the poll through?
Just on her thing or something?
Yeah, it was on her Twitter. So, I mean, it could be her followers. So you got to be, okay.
Who is it?
It's a doctor.
Mary Talley Bowden?
I'm going to say 65.
This was...
I don't know.
65 said no, they don't trust?
No, 65 said they trust doctors.
I was going to say like a 60-40, like a 40%. 45% say they don't trust their doctors anymore.
5% trust their doctors.
Oh, Jesus.
95% don't trust their doctors.
I don't buy that.
And so now I'm saying, like, you got to, like, look at the audience, who was polled.
Yeah,
who follow her.
Followers, yeah.
But she just reposted that, and she says, how are we going to fix this? And I thought, yes. Like, how do you fix that? And I was wondering, like, that's probably why they did this. Like, confusion everywhere. Like, you can't trust anybody. And that's the way they want it.
Yeah.
Like,
that's why.
But who's they, you know?
That's why sometimes it's good just to, like, take a breath and, like, try to look at what's the underlying outlying thing. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody can go too far with anything, right? Like, if it's just this, could it be more? And then when that's not answered, could it be even more than that? And so,
like throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Well, listen, I'm not against it. I'm not against exploring all possibilities. However, a lot of times the answer is kind of right there for you, right from the very beginning. You know what I mean? Like, it's right there.
Well, I think it needs to start working its way back to a direction where doctors are not necessarily looking like right now. Everything is throw fucking prescriptions at it. That's basically all it is. You go in there with something. Oh, I can give you this to alleviate your symptoms. I can give you this, or I can give you this, but that's not fixing the problem. That's covering up the symptoms. That's I have pain here. Okay, well I'll give you this Vicodin, or I'll give you this fucking to dull the pain. Well, why do I have pain in the first place?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And then her thing was like, hopefully RFK Jr. can do something. So we'll see. I mean, I know he recently came out saying like we shouldn't be vaccinating birds, and I'm like, yes, okay, that's a good step.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't really.
All right, dudes.
We'll see. We'll see where it goes.
We'll see where
it goes.
Same thing with the autopen. I mean, obviously, I do think probably not much is going to come of it. Maybe there might be some court law that comes later down the line that regulates the use of it or something.
I'll give you that.
That's probably about it.
If anything happens, that's what it will be. I think so. Greg,
I say it goes nowhere.
Nowhere. Cheers to y'all. Thank you guys for listening the entire show and supporting us. We'll be back Wednesday
night.
Ooh.
Yeah, have a great week, guys. Have fun at work if you're all working during the week. Greg, take care, man.
Stay safe from those allergies, Chris.
Oh, God.
Yeah, right. Better, guys.
Okay, peace.